Hello, and welcome to Reality TV News Update, where you'll find the most recent news, entertaining moments, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. A celebration of life service for Mickey Lee will be held tomorrow, Saturday, January 17th, 2026, bringing together family, friends, and a community forever changed by her presence. The way Mickey lived her life, with honesty, warmth, and an unmistakable spark that left a lasting impression on everyone she met, is expected to be both solemn and uplifting at the gathering. Mickey Lee was more to many people than just a well-known person from television or social media. She was a daughter, a friend, a confidant, a dreamer, and she spoke from the heart. People who are closest to her describe her as a fiercely loyal, deeply empathic, and endlessly expressive individual who never hid her true feelings. The purpose of the service on tomorrow is not solely to reflect on loss. Rather, it is intended to honor the entirety of Mickey's life, the happiness she brought to rooms, and the bravery she displayed in both public and private settings. A connection-based life. Mickey's early years were shaped by close family ties and a strong sense of independence. He was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. She stood out from a young age, not because she wanted to be noticed, but rather because her personality naturally drew people in. She had a way of listening that made others feel like they were heard, and a laugh that stayed with them for a long time. Mickey's ambitions led her to Atlanta, Georgia, a city that matched her enthusiasm and inventive spirit as she got older. Friends recall that Atlanta was where she truly came into her own, building a life defined by hustle, authenticity, and a desire to be more than what others expected of her. One of Mickey's close friends shared, "Mickey always wanted to be real. She was not one to pretend to be perfect. She was a person who valued honesty. That openness became one of her distinguishing features." Making a public entrance. When Mickey entered the Big Brother house during season 27, she brought that same authenticity with her. She didn't want to play a character, she just showed up as herself with all her flaws and emotions. In a setting that frequently requires emotional armor, viewers watched her manage the intense pressure of the game while remaining deeply human. During her time on the show, people talked about things other than strategy and competition. People came to associate Mickey with a person who struggled, questioned herself, laughed freely, and occasionally felt overwhelmed. She offered vulnerability in a genre that is frequently dominated by spectacle. Her sincerity was acknowledged by those who disagreed with her gameplay as well as by those who connected with her openness. She reminded viewers that reality show contestants are first and foremost real people who have histories, relationships, and internal conflicts that do not vanish when the cameras turn on. Beyond the lenses. Mickey went back to her normal life after the show, but the attention she got never completely left her. She did her best to navigate the support and scrutiny that came with that visibility. People who were close to her claimed that she tried to use her platform in a thoughtful way, frequently advocating for kindness, self-reflection, and compassion. A relative stated, "She cared deeply about how people treated each other. She wanted people to understand that words matter." Mental health, self-worth, and the pressure to appear strong were topics that Mickey frequently addressed. She urged others not to suffer in silence because she was aware of how isolating public judgment can be. One of her most lasting legacies is that message. A grieving community. The news that Mickey Lee had passed away shocked her friends, family, and the Big Brother community as a whole. Messages recalling her courage, her humor, her honesty, and the small moments that meant everything came flooding in as tributes. She was described as someone who checked in on others even when she was struggling by former cast members. Her vulnerability, according to her admirers, helped them feel less alone. A shared truth emerged from grief. Mickey was important. That collective sense of loss and gratitude is reflected in the celebration of life on tomorrow. The Provider. The celebration will take place in a small space meant to feel more personal than formal. Mickey's close friends and family, as well as other individuals who had significant roles in his life, will speak to the attendees. The room will be filled with her favorite music, as well as pictures and memories of her growing up to adulthood. The service will emphasize memories, stories of love, laughter, and perseverance, rather than solely mourning. Guests are urged to come as they are, emulating the genuineness that Mickey so cherished. Beloved have been invited to dress in colors that bring back memories of Mickey, a further sign of her vivacious spirit. recalling her persona. A straightforward fact lies at the center of the gathering that will take place tomorrow. Mickey Lee led a life that was significant, despite that it was real, not because it was perfect. She felt strongly, spoke openly, and cared deeply. She demonstrated that being vulnerable is not weakness, that strength and sensitivity can coexist, and that it takes courage to be yourself, even when it's hard. Her story serves as a reminder that a human being deserving of grace lies beneath every headline, televised moment, and public opinion. A legacy to last. She had a lasting impact on Mickey, even though her life was cut short. Her presence persists in conversations sparked by her journey, the empathy she fostered, and the lives she touched, both in person and from afar. The celebration of life tomorrow is not a farewell, rather it is a thank you. Thank you for your laughter. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for reminding me that being human is enough. On Saturday, January 17th, 2026, those who loved her will gather with both grief and gratitude for ever having known Mickey Lee. Even though she's no longer physically present, her light is still woven into her memories. She is remembered, praised, and cherished always.
A celebration of life service for Mickey Lee will be held tomorrow, Saturday, January 17th, 2026, as family, friends, and loved ones gather to honor a woman whose presence left a lasting imprint on so many lives. In addition to serving as a time of mourning, the service will also serve as a sincere tribute to Mickey's humanity, honesty, and joy. People who knew Mickey said that she lived her life openly and loved hard. She was the kind of person who made other people feel like they were seen, whether it was by having thoughtful conversations, laughing out loud, or just showing up when it was most important. That spirit will be reflected in the gathering tomorrow, with a focus on remembering, connecting, and being grateful for the time we spent with her. A life lived honestly. Authenticity defined Mickey Lee's life. Even when it was uncomfortable, she did not avoid expressing her feelings or telling the truth. Friends recall that she was a firm believer in being honest with others and prioritizing honesty over perfection. That quality made her relatable and deeply human in a world that often pressures individuals to hide their struggles. Mickey grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, surrounded by family and deep ties to the community. She showed independence and curiosity from a young age, traits that would later lead her to new opportunities and experiences. She eventually settled in Atlanta, Georgia, a city that matched her ambition, inventiveness, and perseverance. Mickey settled in Atlanta, where she continued to shape her identity, made friends, and established a life based on development and self-discovery. She took on new challenges and went down paths that let her voice be heard there. An open chapter. Mickey made a name for herself when she appeared on Big Brother Season 27, which opened her up to a wide audience. She distinguished herself on the show not through staged drama, but rather through her vulnerability. In a highly visible setting, viewers witnessed her manage pressure, relationships, and self-doubt, all while remaining distinctively herself. Many people appreciated her honesty. Mickey brought emotional honesty to a setting that is frequently dominated by strategy and spectacle. She reminded viewers that reality television contestants are real people with complex lives and personal histories, not just game players. Even those who were watching from a distance felt connected to her journey and found consolation in seeing someone who didn't pretend to know everything. Beyond the light of day, Mickey continued to navigate life with the same sincerity she displayed on screen, away from the cameras. People who were closest to her claimed that she put in a lot of effort to strike a balance between public attention and her own well-being. She frequently advocated for kindness, compassion, and understanding because she was deeply concerned about the effects that her words and deeds had on other people. Conversations about mental health and emotional well-being were particularly important to Mickey. She recognized the weight of expectations and the isolation that can result from misunderstanding. Others felt less alone as a result of her willingness to talk openly about these difficulties. A loved one stated she wanted people to know they were allowed to feel. She believed that strength came from being vulnerable. The unity of a community. People who loved and admired Mickey Lee from afar expressed their sorrow when the news of her death was made public. Stories of her kindness, wit, and compassion filled social media with messages of condolence. She was remembered by former cast members as someone who checked in on others even when she was struggling. Her sincerity had, according to her admirers, helped them through difficult times in their own lives. A recurring theme emerged throughout these tributes. Mickey made people feel understood. The commemoration of her life that will take place tomorrow serves as a setting for that collective memory, a time when everyone whose lives were impacted by her story can come together. The Provider. The service to celebrate Mickey's life will be intimate and focused on her personality rather than her passing. Memories of her laughter, strength, and the relationships she valued will be shared with close friends and family. The service will include photographs of various eras in Mickey's life and music that is meaningful to her. The gathering is intended to be warm and welcoming, just like Mickey herself, rather than having a formal atmosphere. Whether it's through a favorite memory, a quiet thought, or just showing up with love in their hearts, attendees have been encouraged to remember her in their own unique way. A humanist legacy. The way Mickey Lee made people feel is more important than her fame or headlines. She demonstrated that it is possible to be simultaneously strong and sensitive, self-assured and uncertain, joyful and struggling. Her life serves as a reminder that being genuine is important, that kindness has an impact, and that each person's story is worthy of compassion. Despite the fact that she lived much shorter time than anyone expected, her influence continues to spread. On Saturday, January 17, 2026, loved ones gather with sorrow, but also gratitude for the memories, laughter, and connections that Mickey provided so freely. Tomorrow is more than just a goodbye. It is a celebration of a life that was lived honestly, with flaws, but with meaning. Not just for what she did, but also for who she was and the light she brought into the lives of those who knew her. Mickey Lee will be remembered.